The bin factor. Why top actresses keep falling for these actors. Imagine scrolling through old fan cams from 2014, long before anyone dared to dream of a bin luck theory. There, you'll find Kim Woo-bin, still baby-faced at 25, laughing shyly on a Giorgio Armani shoot, while Shin Min-ah, already a goddess at 31, teases him about his height. The director keeps yelling, "More chemistry!" And the two of them deliver it so effortlessly that even the crew stops to whisper. Fast forward 10 years, and that same commercial is being rewatched millions of times. Not for the clothes, but for the tiny glances, the way he brushes hair from her face, the soft way she says his name. Fans have slowed those 3 minutes down frame by frame, turning every micro-expression into evidence that Destiny was already flirting with them back then. It feels almost unfair. While the rest of us were busy crushing on fictional characters, these two were quietly building the kind of love people write novels about. What makes Kim Woo-bin's recovery story even more cinematic is how private the battle really was. When he paused all activities in May 2017, his agency released only a short statement. No tearful press conference, no weekly health updates, nothing. For almost 3 years, the Korean entertainment world held its breath. Rumors swirled, some kind, some cruel, but Shin Min-ah never once let the noise reach him. Friends say she learned to cook his favorite seaweed soup from his mother, carried books to read aloud during long hospital nights, and even mastered the art of making hospital gowns look stylish when she snuck them out for secret night drives along the Han River. When he finally stepped back onto a red carpet in 2020, taller, healthier, and somehow more gentle than before, the entire country exhaled in relief. And when the wedding news dropped last month, complete with an ethereal pre-wedding shoot in Jeju, where he's looking at her like she personally hung the moon, fans didn't just celebrate, they felt vindicated. 10 years of quiet loyalty, finally rewarded with forever. If that's not the ultimate happy ending, nothing is. Meanwhile, in the misty mountains of Gangwon-do, Won Bin and Lee Na-young continue to live like characters who accidentally wandered off the pages of a Studio Ghibli film and decided to stay in the real world. People who have run into them by chance, hikers on quiet trails, grandmothers at the local market, always tell the same story. They look like ordinary villagers until you notice how impossibly beautiful they both are, and how they never stop touching. A hand on the small of her back while she picks persimmons. His fingers laced through hers while they wait for the bus with their son's tiny backpack swinging between them. They still use the same flip phones from 2015 because, as Lee Na-young once laughed in a rare interview, why change something that works? That single sentence somehow explains everything about them. In an industry that runs on trending hashtags and 24-hour news cycles, they have chosen the radical act of disappearing together. And in doing so, they've become the couple everyone secretly wants to be. There's a famous story from the set of their 2002 movie Together that old staff still whisper about. Won Bin was already a superstar. Lee Na-young was the quiet rookie. Between takes, he noticed she was nervously memorizing lines and brought her a warm honey tea without saying a word. 13 years later, at their wedding, she told guests that the moment she knew she would love him forever was when he handed her that paper cup on a freezing January morning. They didn't need fireworks or magazine covers. They just needed each other, and time, and a wheat field in May where the wind carried their vows farther than any microphone ever could. And then there is Hyun Bin and Son Ye-jin, the couple who, accidentally weaponized on-screen chemistry so powerfully that reality surrendered and gave them the exact love story their characters only pretended to have. Crash Landing on You wasn't just a drama, it was a prophecy. The way Ri Jong-hyuk carried Yoon Se-ri across the border became the way Hyun-bin looked at Son Ye-jin at the 2020 Baeksang Awards when she won Best Actress. The way Se-ri smiled through tears when she thought she'd lost everything forever became the way Ye-jin smiled on her wedding day, like she had found everything instead. Even their son's nickname, Al-chan, short for alkaloid, because his parents are both giant nerds who met over coffee and chemistry jokes, feels like another inside joke the universe is letting us in on. What stuns fans most is how normal they insist on being. Son Ye-jin still goes grocery shopping in oversized hoodies and zero makeup, pushing a cart while Hyun-bin trails behind, carrying the heavy stuff and stealing kisses when he thinks no one's looking. Someone always is. They take their baby to the same neighborhood pediatrician ordinary soul parents use. When they walk their dog Kitai in the park, they bow politely to elderly neighbors, like any respectful newlyweds would. Yet, every time a blurry dispatch photo surfaces, the entire internet collectively loses its mind because the most glamorous couple in Korea somehow looks even better buying diapers than they do on a red carpet. Perhaps the real magic of the bin phenomenon isn't the name at all. Maybe it's that all three men share an almost old-fashioned gentleness that has become rare in modern celebrity culture. Kim Woo-bin once said in an interview that the sexiest thing a man can do is listen until the end without interrupting. Hyun-bin famously flew economy class to surprise Son Ye-jin on a drama set just to hand-deliver her favorite tangerines from Jeju. Won-bin still calls Lee Na-young Sonbenim, senior, out of respect, even though they've been married for a decade. They are devastatingly handsome, yes, but they lead with kindness, patience, and the kind of quiet strength that makes extraordinarily beautiful women feel safe enough to choose forever. Korean mothers now joke that if their future daughter-in-law is going to be an actress, they're naming their son something bin and calling it insurance. College students edit bin onto their friends' names in group chats for good luck on blind dates. A rookie boy group almost debuted with the name Bins before their company realized the internet would never let them live it down. The meme has taken on a life of its own, but beneath every joke is a soft, collective sigh of wonder. In a world full of fleeting hookups and messy breakups, three men accidentally proved that fairy tales can still come true, even if your name just happens to rhyme with destiny. So the next time you watch a K-drama and find yourself hopelessly shipping the leads, remember this. Somewhere in Seoul, three ordinary, extraordinary men with two simple letters in common are living the happy endings the rest of us only dare to dream about. And if the universe ever asks you what name you'd like in your next life, you already know what to whisper. Bin. Just Bin. The Bin luck legend refuses to stay quiet. It keeps growing, like a vine that finds new walls to climb every season. Last week, a tiny countryside cafe in Yangpyeong suddenly went viral because an anonymous customer left a Polaroid on the guest book. One Bin, wearing a faded university hoodie and a baseball cap pulled low, feeding Lee Na-young a piece of sweet potato cake while their son drew crayons all over the receipt. The photo was blurry, taken from behind, but the entire country recognized the slope of those legendary shoulders instantly. Within hours, the cafe owner, who had no idea who they were until Twitter told her, was crying on a live broadcast, saying the family comes every autumn when the ginkgo trees turn gold, always sits in the same corner, and always leaves a handwritten thank you note. She kept every single one in a cookie tin under the counter. Netizens are now calling it the sacred bin corner and booking tables 6 months in advance just to breathe the same air. At the same time, Kim Woo Bin and Shin Min-ah's wedding invitation leaked. Not the official one, but a simple cream-colored card with pressed lavender that a close friend accidentally posted and deleted 3 minutes later. The internet still managed to zoom, enhance, and translate every millimeter. The chosen date is December 13th, 2025. The venue is a tiny glass chapel on the cliffs of Jeju, the same one where they shot that fateful 2015 commercial. They're reportedly limiting guests to under 50 people, and instead of wedding gifts, they asked for donations to pediatric cancer wards. Shin Min-ah designed the rings herself. Thin bands of white gold with a single tiny star sapphire on the inside, invisible to everyone except the person wearing it. Fans who have followed their story from the beginning say they're not just attending a wedding. They're watching the final scene of a 10-year movie that started with a 30-second lipstick ad and somehow became the greatest love story Korean entertainment has ever witnessed. Even the usually stoic Hyun Bin has started dropping the tiniest crumbs that send the fandom into orbit. During a recent magazine interview that was supposed to be about his new action film, the reporter asked what the hardest scene he'd ever shot was. Without missing a beat, he answered, "The moment I had to pretend I wasn't in love with Son Ye-jin in real life, while filming the train station scene in Crash Landing on You." The silence that followed was so complete, you could hear the photographer's camera click. Then he smiled that slow, lethal smile and added, "Turns out I'm a terrible actor when it counts." The quote is now tattooed on half the arms in Seoul and printed on phone cases faster than official merchandise can be manufactured. Son Ye-jin, ever the classy queen, responded in her own quiet way. She posted an Instagram story of 2 cups of iced Americanos on a wooden table, one with a perfect heart drawn in foam, and captioned it simply, "Still my favorite co-star." Dispatch tried to figure out the location for 48 hours straight and gave up when they realized the cups were from their own kitchen. The couple has reached a level of domestic bliss so powerful it short-circuits professional stalkers. The phenomenon has officially jumped borders. Japanese morning shows now have regular bin luck segments. A Thai drama is writing a second lead named Bin just to see if the curse, or blessing, works internationally. American K-drama YouTubers with millions of subscribers make entire hour-long videos titled The Bin Theory, Statistical Anomaly or Cosmic Intervention, complete with pie charts and slow-motion clips of all 3 men tucking hair behind their wives' ears. Someone even ran the numbers. The probability of 3 unrelated A-list actors sharing a syllable, marrying 3 women, consistently ranked in the top 10 most beautiful faces in Korea for over 15 years, and all maintaining decade-plus relationships with 0 scandals, is apparently smaller than the chance of getting struck by lightning while holding a winning lottery ticket. Mathematicians have stopped arguing and started calling it the bin constant. Back home, the jokes have evolved into folklore. Grandmothers in bus terminals tell wide-eyed teenagers, "Study hard, but also pray your future husband has been somewhere in the name." Matchmaking agencies have started asking on their forms, "Are you open to a legal name change?" At least 3 newborn boys were officially registered last month as Song Bin, Park Bin, and Lee Bin by parents who swear they're just hedging their bets. A children's clothing brand quietly released a line called Little Bin Collection, tiny hanboks and overalls embroidered with a single gold bin, and sold out in 4 minutes. And perhaps the sweetest development of all, the 3 actresses have apparently formed their own private group chat, affectionately titled Mrs. Bin and Co. Rumor has it they exchange recipes, parenting hacks, and gentle roasts of their husbands whenever one of them does something especially husband-shaped. Hyunbin once tried to assemble a Swedish crib at 2 a.m. and ended up with what looked like modern art. Kim Woo-bin cried at a diaper commercial. Won-bin still can't work the smart TV and calls Lee Na-young from the living room to change the channel. The fact that 3 of the most untouchable goddesses in Korea are out there sending each other voice notes about whose turn it is to host the next playdate feels like the universe's way of reminding us that even legends buy discounted diapers and argue about whose night it is to do dishes. So the story keeps writing itself, chapter after chapter, giggle after sigh after happy tear. Somewhere tonight, Kim Woo-bin is probably practicing his wedding vows in the mirror, while Shin Min-ah pretends not to listen from the next room. Won-bin is reading a bedtime story in that low, sleepy voice that once made an entire nation fall in love with him 20 years ago. Hyunbin is pushing a stroller through a quiet Seoul park, while Son Ye-jin walks beside him, barefoot in the grass because their son insisted on carrying both her shoes. And millions of us, scattered across the world, keep watching from afar, smiling like we've been personally invited to the greatest love trilogy ever told. Because if love were an enchantment, these 3 men found the incantation hidden in plain sight. 2 little letters. 1 impossible, beautiful spell. Bin.